Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for another Health Ministries presentation. Today, our topic will be Are we eating enough? So let's start with the word of prayer. Father God, thank you so much for bringing us all here together. Thank you for instilling your words in our presenter today, Dr. Gordon. Please help us to be receptive to what she says and to apply it to our lives where necessary. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. So today we will be learning about how much food we need to eat. Dr. Aleda Gordon is a registered dietitian with over 30 years of experience working in several settings such as inpatient, outpatient, and the community. She has been and is the adjunct faculty at several community colleges and local universities for the last 23 years. Sade Consultant Services is her new project providing medical nutrition therapy on an outpatient basis to children through adults. Her passion is to educate individuals in an effort to reduce the rate of chronic disease among people of color. Welcome, Dr. Gordon.
And how we doing today?
There she is. She'll be presenting on how much food should we be eating for optimal health. Welcome, Dr. Gordon.
All right, thank you. Good morning. Today's topics,
Yes.
are we eating too much? That's the topic, but we're going to get to that. So I would like to have the participants that are here with the presentations go ahead and put in the chat your questions and comments, and we'll get to it at the end of the presentation. So as we begin today, in the beginning, God created man from the dust of the earth. And he created a beautiful man, had a beautiful woman from the rib of the man. And the two of them were happy in the Garden of Eden. And we see that in Genesis 2:7. As God created us, he made the food that we are supposed to eat. He gave us legumes, he gave us fruits, he gave us vegetables, he gave us nuts and seed. And as you can see, there's a variety of legumes there in the picture. And in this picture, you'll also see there's a variety of nuts, there's a variety of vegetables, a variety of foods all over the rainbow you see there. So these are the foods that God intended for us to eat to make sure our body is well nourished and we're free from any disease, that we're healthy pretty much. Why do we eat? There's a purpose in eating. The purpose is to get nutrients from the food. The body cannot make the nutrients it needs. It cannot make the macronutrients without your carbohydrates, your protein, and your fat, and the micronutrients without vitamins and minerals and your water. These are all called essential nutrients because the body cannot make it. You also will notice that I use the word macronutrients because they're needed in larger amount than the micro. The vitamins and minerals are needed in smaller amounts. So that's the purpose of eating. However, we do eat by pleasure. There are the 2-AG and the ghrelin. Those two are for pleasure. The 2-AG, it's derived from arachidonic acid and is an ester of the omega-6 and glycerol. And it's mainly found in the central nervous system. Now, ghrelin, we know ghrelin because ghrelin is known as the hunger hormone. This hormone is released by the stomach when it's empty. And the purpose is to tell the brain, hey, we are hungry, we need food. But this also does other functions in the body. It helps the glucose homeostasis. It decreases thermogenesis to regulate the energy expenditure. It also reduces the sympathetic nervous activity. And it also prevents muscle atrophy and participates in the formation of the bones. So those two are other involved in the pleasure. So what they have found that when the body releases these chemicals, it produces a reward. You feel a sense of reward, which leads to overeating because you're looking for that pleasure. You're looking for that reward that this food gives you. That's why we like comfort foods. It gives us that reward. Now we also engage in stress emotional eating. And when we engage in that type of eating, we're eating foods that are high in fat, we're eating food that are high in sugar, or either both. So there are things we can do to overcome that. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. And lastly, mindful eating. What is mindful eating? Is actually be mindful of what you're eating, thinking about it. Pretty much looking at the color of the food, enjoying the smell, enjoying the flavor, enjoying the texture of the food. Chewing slowly, not rushing and eating the food, eating slowly. Getting rid of any distraction. No TV, no iPad, no phone. You're just focusing on eating. And learning to cope with the guilt and anxiety about food. So these are all things that are involved in eating. Why do we overeat? First of all, we have an abundance of food. We have so much. And also, we have an abundance of commercials that entice us to eat. For example, you be watching television and there comes a food commercial. What do? You get up and go look for something to eat. You're not hungry, but that commercial does give you an idea that you need to go get something to eat. We have the action of 4 different hormones. One I just talked about was ghrelin. The hunger hormone can have us eat an excess of 30% of what we don't need, right? Then we have leptin. Leptin is supposed to inhibit the appetite. It's supposed to tell the brain, okay, brain, stop eating and let's start burning calories. This is secreted by the fat cells. But in a process where you're overeating too much and you're doing it for so long and you're overweight, this doesn't work. Then we have insulin. Insulin is needed. We all have insulin. 2, insulin gets the glucose inside the cell wall. I call the insulin the janitor of the school. The janitor have the keys. Insulin has the key to open that cell wall so the glucose can get right inside that cell. But it also acts on the central nervous system to stop eating. But if you have insulin resistance, you may lose that effect. That's not happening. Lastly, adrenaline and cortisol, our stress hormones, supposed to diminish appetite. But if the stress continues over a long period of time, cortisol is the one that's released, which increases our appetite. So you can see stress is involved also in these hormones. So these are the 4 that really involve in our action of overeating. So let's get back to the Garden of Eden. Something happened in that beautiful garden. Adam and Eve was having fun, just enjoying the garden, the beautiful flowers, the beautiful fruit, everything. But there stood one tree in the middle of that garden, and Eve was just doing what she does the best, and it came too close to the tree, and guess who was there? A beautiful snake. Disguised by Satan. Of course, Satan used that disguise to entice her. And she got too close. She held a conversation with it, too much of a conversation. And she ate the fruit. She shared the fruit with her husband, and they both came about and felt a change in them. So this first sin of eating the fruit was a disobedience to God. It shows she distrusted God. She distrusted God's wisdom and transgressed his law. So this is the beginning. In my opinion, this is where all our eating problems started, right here at this garden. All right? So let's progress now to the year 2021. What are we eating? This is our favorite food. We love the French fry, we love the pizza, we love the ice cream, we love the desserts, we love the burgers. This is all what we eat. Now, when you think about this, is this the food that God provided for us? Well, they took the food that God provided and processed it, right? And added more stuff to it. So these are foods that provide some nutrient, but not as much as God intended for us to have. Let's continue. Here we have our processed food. Everything we have is processed now. Because somewhere down the line, we believe the lie that we do not have time to cook. So it's easier and more convenient to go to the store and buy processed foods. Canned foods, a lot of canned foods. And I'm not bringing this picture to say that canned foods are not good, because we like it's best we can get foods frozen, we can get them raw, we can get them canned. But you have to read those labels, which I'm going to show you how to read the food label this morning. So you can get food in a variety of formats, just looking at the nutritional content and the amount that we're eating. The beverages, our beverages are also being culprit to this. We have all different types of sodas. We have Gatorade. We have all of vitamin waters. Like, why does vitamin water need vitamin? Well, they have it, and folks are buying it. We just need plain old water, all right? And so now let's take a minute to understand how to read a food label. Every product has a nutrition facts. It tells you the number of servings per container. It tells you the serving size. So if you eat this entire can of vegetable soup, you're eating 2 cups, which is 2 servings, the entire can. This information here is for 1 serving. So each serving is 160 calories. So if you eat the entire can, you're eating 320 calories, the double of this. Now, what things you want to look at the bottom? There is a percent daily value, and that's based on the nutrition based on 2,000 calories for 1 day, because the average person should be eating about 2,000 calories. We look at total fat. This has 4 grams, and it has 6%. So we would like this number to be between 5 to 10. That's good. So this is 6. This is not bad. It has saturated fat because most likely it has some meat product in it. It has no trans fat. Trans fat is the fat that is made from taking a liquid oil and heating it up, hydrogenated it. Heat it up, they had hydrogen to it, and it changed formation. It goes from a cis to a trans. And this is what Crisco has. Crisco has a lot of trans fat. And the reason they did that, so that the oil does not spoil during delivery and during the time it's in the store. So, but what we have found that trans fat increases our risk of heart disease. Now we know. Then we have, there's no cholesterol, which is good. And then the sodium is the next thing we'll look at. You see here, there's 680 milligrams per serving and 28%. Remember, I said the percentage need to be between 5 to 10. So this is really high. This 28% is really high. Then we look at total carbs. It has 8% carbs, not very good. The dietary fiber has 32%, which we want this to be higher than the 10% because we eat a diet very low in fiber. So this got to come from the vegetables. It has some total sugars, 5 grams, but it has no added sugar. This is what you want to look at, added sugars. How much added sugars did they put to this product? So for example, if the product had 20 grams of added sugar, you divide it by 4 and you'll see it has 5 teaspoons of added sugar. So they actually, to this product, took 5 teaspoons of sugar and added it. All right. So those are the things you want to look at. You can also look at the vitamin D, the calcium, the iron, and the potassium content in here. But you want to look at the total fat. You want to look at the sodium. You also want to look at fiber and the added sugars. By using this, you can compare products. Look at this reduced sodium vegetable soup. It's same serving size, same 2 servings per container. The total fat is the same, Saturated fat is the same. But look at the sodium. It went from 680 to 340, but it's still high. It's still above the 10%. So individuals that are salt sensitives, um, if you like, if this is what you have at home, the 14%, you can add some more vegetables to it to reduce that sodium content, or more water and more vegetables. So carb is the same, fiber is the same. So these are the things you want to compare. Let's see if you are looking at your fat content, how much fat you eat, you want to compare these percentages. So a good idea is at the beginning of the day, you write down, keep a track of all the products you're eating and how much the fat is that in each product. When you get to 100, you've had enough fat for the day. All right, you can do with fat, you can do also with sodium if you like. All right, so put your comments and your questions in the chat. Now, this campaign, I'm not sure if you remember this campaign, but this campaign, I cannot forget this campaign. 2004, Mr. Morgan Spurlock decided that for 30 days, he was going to eat at McDonald's, 3 meals a day. He consumed 5,000 calories a day. That may seem a lot, but a lot of us eat that amount of calories a day when we eat all the 3 meals of different fast food restaurants. What happened after 30 days? He gained 24 pounds in 30 days. What happened with his blood lipids? His cholesterol went up to 230, which is over the normal. He started experiencing mood swings, sexual dysfunction, and have fat accumulation in his liver, what we call a fatty liver. So this was a good experiment because it showed what eating at this restaurant 3 times a day for 30 days can do to your health. So it took him 14 months to lose the 24 pounds. And check out what type of diet he had to go on. He went on a vegan diet to lose that. But what he gained in 30 days, it took him 14 months to lose. All right? So this supersize campaign told us that we can supersize our meal for a little bit of money and get a lot of food. But what happened with a lot of food that we're eating? We're gaining the weight. So as a result, you see the food sizes increase, and they're still increasing. In 1955, look at the hamburgers, 3.7 ounce. And it gradually increased to now to 9.2 ounces. This is what it looks like now, today. I got this picture recently. This is what it looks like. Looks a lot better than this one. But this is what it looks like. And now it comes to 1, 2, 3 patties plus extra stuff. It looks appetizing, but I don't think we think about the calories that food is bringing into our bodies. French fries, that has also increased. They give you a lot of fries. They put salt on it before, they put salt after. Very high in salt. These French fries. And I'm not implying that you cannot have this. The word is moderation. That's what I wanted to get across it in moderation. Let's look at the size of our stomach. Our stomach is not as big as we think it is. Our stomach has a capacity when it's empty of 2.5 ounces. It can expect up to a quart of food that we're eating. But if you look at our stomach from birth, look at the size. The bird is the size of the strawberry. At 2 months, it's the size of a small kiwi. At 1 year, it's the size of an orange, and as an adult, it's of a small cantaloupe, so 1 quart. The thing is, the more you stretch the stomach overeating, your stomach will shrink. It will stretch easier because your custody are stretching. All right? So this stomach is capable of digestion, breaking down the foods, sending it down to the small intestine for absorbance. But the more you keep stretching it, the bigger it is, and the more calories you're going to be taking in. And that's the problem. We eat too much, and then there's a lot of calories that the body don't need The body takes those calories, it stores it as fat. So here we're facing an obesity epidemic now. This started a while back. This epidemic was in 1990. The CDC said that more obese adults made up less than 15% of the population. That's in 1990. In 1997, the World Health Organization called it an epidemic, a worldwide epidemic. That's in 1997. Now in 2010, 36 states in the US have obesity rates over 25% or higher. 12 of those obesity rates are over 30% or higher. So we're dealing with a problem, especially the children. 1 out of 6 children, adolescents aged 2 to 19 are obese, and 1 out of 3 are overweight or obese. And honestly, I believe these figures are conservative because I think it's really, really higher. All right. What are the risk factors? And we know this. We've seen this. Type 2 diabetes, hypertension, heart disease and stroke, high cholesterol, gallbladder disease, sleep apnea, osteoarthritis, fatty liver, cancer. And unfortunately, in my practice, I'm seeing young kids. I have a 10-year-old already has full-blown high blood pressure. I also have a 10-year-old which is a full-blown type 2 diabetes, 10 years old. And this is a problem. I'm not sure how we can handle this problem, but if we work together with the medical professionals, we can probably do something. But the problem is not to blame the fast food industry. They're there to sell a product. We have to teach the consumer how to make better choices. There are healthy choices at those fast food restaurants, but they cost more. So working as a team in these environments so that the restaurants that are around are serving healthier choices, we have to teach the consumers how to get back in the kitchen and cook. And cooking is not a big deal. You know, having a rice cooker is one. Having a skillet is one thing. Having a slow cooker. There's certain appliances that you can have at home to make a full meal. And these things can be prepared ahead of time. So let's look at the nutritional value of some of the fast food. I chose one restaurant. And I'm sure you can tell what restaurant it is. So a double Whopper with cheese is $6.69. That is 980 calories. That's the conservative 900. It can be more. It has 64 grams of fat, and look at the amount of sodium, 1,410 milligrams. Keep in mind that the recommendation for us is to have 2,300 milligrams a day, which equals 1 teaspoon. Look at the small French fries, 189, 320 calories, 9 grams of fat, 210 milligrams of sodium. We're going to add a soda, Sprite, 16 ounce, 199, 210 calories, and 95 milligrams of sodium because soda has no fat. The total, we're spending close to $11. The calories is 1,510. The grams is 70 grams of fat, and the sodium is 1,750 milligrams. Again, keeping in mind this one meal is providing almost what we need in one day. So now, can we do better? Of course. Let's look at a veggie burger. Conservative. $3.99 the price. The calories is 390. 17 grams of fat. 398 sodium. And keep in mind, this is a plain burger because they can make burgers with way more toppings and stuff that can take the calories right up. A garden salad, 169, 60 calories, 4 grams of fat, 95 grams of sodium. Bottled water, better choice, 169, nothing. So in total here, you can be spending $8. Your calories is 450, 21 grams of fat, and then 493 grams in sodium. In comparison to this other choice at 1,510, 73 grams of fat, and over almost 2,000 calories, the 2,000 milligrams in sodium. Now, I want to say just a commercial here about the vegan meals. I love that we have a lot of vegan meals out there, but we got to keep in mind a lot of them are still high in fat, high in salt. They serve large portions, which makes up large calories. As you can see, this veggie burger, it has tomato, it has red onions, it has the patty, probably some mushroom, but there's fried something on the top here. So don't think because you're eating a vegan meal, all is 100% healthy. Just keep that in mind. Now, let's go back to the beginning. We talk about first about the Garden of Eden. In the Bible, we see a lot of different occasions where God, individual disobeyed God and they rebel about food. If you remember, during the Garden of Eden, that was the first disobedience in the wilderness when they left Egypt. They disobeyed about not having water. They disobeyed about not having food. God gave them manna. They wanted quail. They wanted the food from Egypt. So there's always been some rebellion about food since the beginning of time. And I think we have that same rebellion nowadays. So how to do better? Let's do better. First of all, eating the fruits and vegetables. They're low calories. In my practice, I have difficulty getting people to eat vegetables. They'll say, oh, I eat a lot of vegetables. Okay, come and explain to me what a lot means. And most of the time, the vegetables is French fries. They eat green beans that have overcooked and loses nutrients. So I try to educate, okay, you see the rainbow of colors of vegetable? Let's try to eat some. Eat some more. Try to get a vegetable for lunch, try to get a vegetable for dinner. All right, they're low calories. They don't have all the extra fat and all that stuff because see, we get used to that because we have a love affair with fat and salt. Love affair that we gotta have it. We have a love affair for simple sugars too. All right, drink more water. I said limit, but then I said avoid. Get rid of all these sodas and juices and sugary beverages. Get rid of them. They're really not providing us any nutritional value at all. Eat smaller portions. So instead of using a platter, use a smaller plate. All right? Eat until you're satisfied. A lot of times you don't have to feel full. You have to feel satisfied. And the thing is, if you eat slowly, your body will give you the signal when it's full. And listen to the body. But we eat too quickly and we're trying to get all this food down and we lose the signal that we're full. Right? Eat a variety of foods. Don't skip meals. A lot of times individuals decide to skip breakfast and that's not a good thing. Breakfast is supposed to break the fast. So even if you make a vegetable smoothie with a little bit of fruit in it, they are breaking the fast. All right. Even if you make your oatmeal and you add some almonds to your oatmeal and you use your plant-based milk or you have a slice of bread with this or whatever, don't try not to skip meals because if you skip the meal, then you're so hungry for the following meal, you're going to eat too much. You're going to overeat. Make different choices. Plan your choices. For example, if you just feel today that you have to have that double Whopper with cheese, all right, let's work it in. You know it's 1,500 calories. And you should be eating, let's say, 2,000 calories. So you have a little bit more to go. So if you really want to have that double Whopper, I would recommend eat salad for the rest of the meals. Get that in. If you just have to have this double Whopper. All right? So plan your choices. Keep in mind, this meal is not the last meal for you. You'll eat again when the stomach tells you it's time to eat again. So don't overdo it. So now, I want to go over what the average person should consume in a day is 2,000 calories. It's 2 cups of fruits a day, 5.5 ounces of protein, which could be legumes, peanut butter, or if you use veggie meat or you use real meat, doesn't matter. 2.5 cups of vegetables, 6 ounces of grains, and 3 servings of dairy. This total here is 2,000 calories per day. But I know it's like how you figure that out. Let's go. Let's next slide. The serving sizes for grains is a half a cup of rice, pasta, or cooked cereal, 1 cup of cold cereal. Vegetables, the serving size is 1 cup of cooked or raw vegetables. If you're eating a leafy vegetable like salad, 2 cups of leafy vegetables is 1 serving. The fruit is 1 cup. The protein, 1 ounce is a serving. And I know this is a shock because for years we learned that 3 ounces was a serving. But they realized we're really taking in too much protein. So they reduce it down. 1 ounce of meat is a serving. 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, a quarter cup of beans. That's the serving size of protein. Now the dairy, I promote the plant-based milk. They have soy, rice, almond, cashew, pea. There's quite a few. Find the one that you like. 1.5 ounce of cheese, and it could be either veggie cheese. There's some cheese out there that really tastes good, and a container of yogurt. Those are the serving sizes. So in total, if you don't go over these number of servings, you will be eating 2,000 calories. If you go over this, you'll be eating more calories than your body needs. Now, in conclusion, you notice I did not talk about activity because that is understood. Our body was made to be active, and that can be another discussion. But in conclusion, to get your weight and your appetite in order, only God can assist with that process. You cannot do this by yourself. You have to allow God to be in this process. You gotta pray that God will help you to eat less, to take away that pleasure to eat, to overeat, that potential. He can do that if you're serious in order to do it. We are bombarded by so many food commercials that the potential to overeat is very simple. We'll do it without even thinking. All right? Try to drink water. Get your big containers of water and try. For female, we should try to drink 8-ounce cups of water a day, 72 ounces. Males is 11 8-ounce cups, so 88. So that's the amount of water that we need throughout the day. And if it's as hot as it is now with the summer, with the temperature so high, you will be drinking more water. Try drink of water before you eat. Try eat your vegetables after that so you can get full and you eat less cooked food. Eat slowly and enjoy the taste and aroma of the food. I know potlucks tend to be an issue, but with potlucks, just taste a tablespoon of everything. You don't have to have a plate full. But the more you eat in calories, whatever it doesn't need, the body will store it. So eating less and be active, you'll be able to burn the calories and be healthier. The goal is to be healthier so that you can do the work that God has in mind for you to do. So being healthy is important. So at this time, this is my conclusion. Any questions?
Thank you so much, Dr. Gordon. That was a wonderful presentation there. We have
You're
some
welcome.
questions here.
Good.
Yes, it was great. Someone is wanting you to review what is the most important items that we should be looking for on a food label. I think you had mentioned 3 or is it 4 that we should look at a food label all the time to make sure that we have the correct food.
All right. The first thing you want to look at this number of servings and the serving size. Now, you keep in mind that some of the products are not following what the government has set up with the portion size. So this one is fine. This one it says 1 cup, so this is good. Some of products you'll see 3/4 cup, and that's not meeting the recommendation. All right. So serving size, you want to look at the calories, If this calorie is 400 calories, you don't want to take that product. I didn't mention that before, but I mentioned it now. You want no more than 200 calories here for calories. You want to look at total fat. You want to look at sodium. You want to look at fiber, and you want to look at the added sugars here.
Okay, very good. And then the fat content for each product, what are we looking for?
The total
How much
fat
is too much per product?
per product.
You know, like when we look on a food label and some fat has a smaller amount, some has a large, how do we
Right.
know if the
Which,
fat content is to that particular
if
product?
it's above 10%, you want it between 5 to 10. If it's 12, 13, 14, that's too high.
Okay, perfect. And then Frances Parker here has a comment that she'll be working mindful. And if I remember correctly, the mindful eating was watching our colors, right?
Yeah,
Not eating in front of a
uh,
TV. And what
right.
else?
Okay. In mindful eating,
Mm,
you're enjoying the food. You're looking at the color. You're looking at the aroma. You're also looking at the flavors, the texture. You're chewing slowly. You're getting rid of any distraction, and you're learning to cope with the guilt and anxiety about food. Because each one of us have a different relationship with food, and we have to understand what that is and pray about it. Food, our
yeah,
appetite is a strong, I want to call it, tendency we have, and only giving that over to God that we can learn to control that.
absolutely. Boy, I think that's going to be the hardest one for me. Mindful eating, not in front of the
Mindful eating.
TV. I'm not even sure how that's going to work out. But I
Oh, we,
understand it's better for our.
yeah, we all do it. We all do it. But at times we gotta understand our relationship. Okay, if I'm not paying attention to what I have in front of me, I'm distracted with something else. I have a tendency to overeat.
You're right. I think one time I
Right.
ate a bag of chips, the big bag, because I was watching TV, and next thing I looked down, the bag was gone. Oh my goodness. I learned not to put the bag in front of me,
There
is
you
what I
go. There
learned.
you go. There you go. That's a good thing to learn.
Yes. And then another question was on breakfast. The
Okay.
person is saying, I don't have time for breakfast each morning. What are some ideas, some meal prep ideas?
All right. With breakfast, you can make the night before. You can make your oatmeal and put it in the jar with all your fruits and thing with you. Just in the morning, take it to your microwave it, warm it up, and take it with you. That's one idea for cereal. The other idea is you can pack a bagel with some peanut butter, or if you use any kind of cream cheese, that's breakfast. You can also make a smoothie if you want. Make the smoothie from the night before and take it with you in the morning. But
Oh,
I
excellent
believe
ideas.
I believe that if you get up at least 20 minutes earlier, you can make your breakfast. I guarantee just
Yes.
20 minutes. But see, we tend not to go to bed early because we're so busy doing things. But the body
Mhm.
needs the time to rest. I found a study years ago that being in bed by 10, if you go to sleep at 10 to 2, that's the time the body is rebuilding itself, is breaking down and rebuilding stuff. That's the time you get your best sleep. So I tried the experiment. I said, okay, I'm going to try to go to bed by 10 o'clock. And I tell you, I can't get off the schedule. It's been, usually by 9, I'm already in my bed because I'm feeling, my body's telling me, okay, it's time to go rest. And I get good sleep. I get up at 5 o'clock, but I get my hours in of rest. So if you make it a point to go to bed early, your body will wake you up, because I don't even need an alarm clock to wake me up. My body just wakes me up for the day. Get up 20 minutes early. I make it a habit. that way you can make your breakfast and you can take it on the go.
Yes, because I understand that getting to bed early also helps to
Early.
control your weight so you don't
There
gain
you
as
go.
much weight,
That's
right? And then
right.
we
That's
will
right.
not do that late night eating at midnight, right?
There you go. There you
So
go.
good thing,
You're right. You're right.
right?
Oh,
So there's
you know,
many things that it will help.
yes. And I ask my teenagers that I see, I said, what time you go to bed? Oh, 2, 3 in the morning, and then they sleep all day. I said, but you're missing the day. I said, what are you doing at night? The video games. They're up in the morning playing their video games. I said, oh, okay. And they're eating junk at night. But the
Yes,
thing is, but the thing is, with a teenager, I try to encourage the parents, don't bring that stuff into the house. Don't bring the junk food. Only have healthy choices in the house. So that's what they see. If all they see is fruits and cut up vegetables, they will eat that. But if you bring the chips and the cookies, they're going to choose that over the healthy foods.
absolutely. I usually say that is, when you go out to go grocery shopping or so, buy that little bag of chips, enjoy it, and then be done with it. Do not bring it to the house. But yes, Dawn, I am with you. Go to bed at 6 p.m. so we can avoid the whole thing.
Hey, let me tell you, when the sun sets early, I'm in bed early, because the sun is gone. What's there to do? But I get enough sleep. I get good sleep. So, and I turn off my phone,
Okay.
or put my phone in another room so I don't hear that phone. But I'm going to sleep.
Excellent. We all need that rest for body repair.
Yes,
And then we
yes,
have
yes.
another question. Um, I'm vegan and I'm wondering how to get omega-3 into my diet. Is it only in fish?
All right. There are some products that have omega 3s. Um, and see, the other thing that I found out when I took my biochemistry class and all that stuff in school, that the body does make some omega 3 and 6. The body makes it. We've
Oh,
never
okay.
we've never seen a, we've never seen anyone deficient in those things. But now, because it's made it big, now there's supplements, and when somebody comes in and their lipids are out of high in my clinic, I take them off those omega 3 pills. Take it off. If you're eating a
Mm.
variety of foods, as a vegan should, you're not gonna need to get those omega 3 and 6. The body makes it.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. I didn't know it came in our fruits and our vegetables. That's good.
Yes, and the body in its metabolism makes it. The only product, the supplement that we need as a vegan, or two, the calcium and vitamin D, because everybody is low, and I believe that is we are low because the recommendation is too high, but I leave that alone. And the B6, I mean B12. I'm sorry, B12. B12 is the only supplement that the body stores in the body. And before you
Oh,
start
okay.
taking B12, have your doctor check your levels to see how much is in your body. All right, just don't go taking supplements like that. Make sure you go to your doctor, have them test to see how your levels are in the body, and proceed accordingly.
Oh, good advice.
Okay.
And then we have a comment here from Sandra, and she's asking for any recommendations for people who do shift work. I know some people get off work at night and then they eat breakfast in the morning and they go to bed. What are some recommendations?
When she says shift works, is working 11 to 7 in the morning.
She didn't specify, um,
Okay.
but I that's
Oh,
that's my assumption,
Seven?
11 to 7.
Okay. All right. If you're working 3 to 11, you have your breakfast, right? And then you have your lunch before you leave, and then you have your dinner at work. The dinner will be your lunchtime at work. If you're working 11 to 7, I know you're trying to get to bed. Um, you probably could have something to drink in the morning, go to sleep. All right. Then you wake up, you can have your breakfast, You can have your lunch, and if you want, you can have your dinner before you leave. And in between the lunchtime, just have a snack. But that is going to be a process to get that, because that is against the body rhythm. Because 11 to 7, the body thinking it should be asleep. So it takes a little effort and a little change, eating small meals, very small meals, until when you get that acquainted. Because if you're eating the large meals, the body may not be active enough, and it's going to store the calories. So get your sleep. You may go to bed, let's say 8, and you get up. You get up about 3 o'clock, let's say. Have a breakfast, right? Have a lunch before you leave. And if you cannot have dinner before you leave, have your dinner for snack, or just a snack. But that's working. Those schedules are tough. I tried to work that schedule one. I couldn't handle it when I was in school. Couldn't do it. So that's a tough schedule.
Yeah, it is very hard. I've done that. I did it for about 5 years, working 11 to 7
Ooh.
and sometimes 7 to 7. And yes, that is actually what I did. I did not eat coming off work. My
Right.
dinner was at 2 or 3
At
in the
2.
morning. I ate my
You
full
see?
meal. I take it to
Yeah.
work with me and eat the full
Right.
meal because I'd be walking up and down the halls. And so, I had
Okay.
sufficient exercise. And then I
Right.
always ate prior to going to work. So I ended up kind of
Right.
eating just about 2 times a day and some
See?
snacks in
Okay.
between. But I
Right.
treated my night shift as if it were my day. And I
Day.
ate
Right.
during that day, but not before going to bed because, boy, that weight does tend to start piling on real
It
quick with
it
that shift
does.
work.
It does. It does.
Yeah,
And you
it's
have to
very
eat small
tricky.
meals. You gotta eat
Yeah.
small meals. Don't make it big meals. Make it small meals.
Yes.
And the thing is,
Yeah.
with that small meal, you want to have a carb, a protein, and have some vegetables and fruit. Small.
Correct.
You know,
Correct.
you don't want to you don't want to have a whole big old thing.
Yes. Yeah. And then talking about the balance of your meal on the plate with the carb and the protein and the vegetable, I had heard once that you try to divide the plate in half and you fill the half with the vegetables. It should be two colors. Is that right?
That is
An
right.
orange and a green.
Half of the plate could be vegetable and fruit. The half of the plate should be plant based. Should be plants. Could be two
Okay.
vegetables, different colors. It could be a fruit and a vegetable. Then the other half is your protein, and the other one is your grain.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
So
So
then my go
go
ahead.
ahead. So
No,
in your
my
protein,
question.
go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
go ahead. We have a delay.
What's your question?
So my question was, with the half of the plate being vegetable, does that include my salad or do I have a salad apart from the vegetables on the plate?
That the salad is part of it. So
Ah,
you
okay.
could have a salad, and then you could have some zucchinis in addition on the plate.
Ah, okay.
See, for me, when I eat, I like to have my salad separate. I eat that first. So I have my salad in a bowl, and I eat that first. And then after I finish eat that, then I'll have my plate with my grain, my meat, and then my zucchini or whatever, cucumbers, whatever else I want to add there. And that's my meal.
Oh, okay. No, that sounds like a good balance. And then we have a question here. What oils, if used, is best? I assume
All
that
right.
they mean frying oils or just oils in cooking.
Cooking. All right. So the best oil is the olive oil. Okay, that's our monounsaturated. That's the best one. Now, then we have polyunsaturated, which is one of them is canola oil. If you're gonna if you're gonna fry something, and I don't mean deep frying, but you're gonna saute something, you can use your olive oil. Saute very little, just to get heated up or whatever. Now, if you're gonna, like we fry our plantains, all right, I'm gonna use my canola oil for that because it's a little bit of oil. Use that for my canola, just to brown it on both sides, and I'm done. All right. Now, there is the trans fat, as we talked about earlier. That is your Crisco. We use it in baking. That's what I use all my teenage years baking with my mom because Crisco was the best thing. All right, that is a trans fat. All right, so that increases your risk of heart disease. Then we have the saturated fats. The saturated fat, that is your lard, your manteca. All right, that is so hard at room temperature that they don't even put it in the refrigerator. They leave it outside in the supermarket. So now, for us that's trying to be healthy, the best two oils are the olive oil, the canola, it could be the grape seed, any of those mono and polyunsaturated. Keep in mind, each oil is a combination of monounsaturated, polyunsaturated, and saturation. Depending on how much saturation is at, that's how it's classified. For example, everyone like the coconut oil and all that stuff. That is a pure saturated oil. Use sparingly. All right. So olive oil is good to use. I use canola olive oil. I have some coconut oil at home. I have not even looked at it because it's pure saturated fat. All right. So those are the type of oils that, but again, try to avoid or limit the amount of frying that you do. And having a air fryer is a wonderful thing. So that's another equipment we should have: the rice cooker, the slow cooker, the skillet, the air fryer. Because you don't need a lot. You just spray it a little bit with your sprayer and put it in, and it does the rest for you. Does
Oh,
that make
those are
sense?
wonderful ideas. Oh, yes, absolutely. And then regarding the coconut oil, they had this fad that went around that we should put coconut oil on our food because it was the most healthy. What are your thoughts on that?
Lies. The lies people tell us, and we believe them. Let me tell you. The devil is busy. He wants us to be sick. He don't want us healthy because if we are sick, we can't do God's work. All right? So you got to listen to these commercials and think for a minute, okay, what are they trying to tell us here? What? No, I'm not good. It's not the healthiest. The healthiest is the olive oil, the pure olive oil. That's why it's so
Oh,
expensive.
true, true, true. Which brings to mind that fad diet. Well, I don't know that it's a fad diet, but this high protein diet where they're taking away all your vegetables and they take away your fruits, basically, and they just leave you with a lot of meat and a little bit of carbs, not too much, and then maybe a little side of wilted broccoli or so. What are your thoughts on these high protein diets for weight loss?
All right. High protein diets, they work for weight loss. But let me tell you, at the expense of what? Yes, you take away all the good food that God gave you. You're focusing on this protein. You bring down the calorie that you take in, but it's at the expense of your heart because your cholesterol's go up, your triglycerides going to go up. You're going to end up with a fatty liver. All these things that is not what you wanted. All right. So I get my people off of those diets. Get rid of the high protein diet, that keto diet. All that stuff don't work. Fat diets don't work because you lose the weight, but then when you stop implementing it, what happens? You go back to your old habits. The weight comes back like a vengeance. So don't do those diets. Those fat diets do not work. Go back. I try to bring them back. Okay, if you want to eat meat, the recommendation 5.5 ounces, 6 ounces. Don't go over that. But you got to get your vegetables in. You got to get your fruit in. You got to get your whole grains in, right? Do your plant-based dairy. That's what's going to make you lose the weight. You got to decrease the calories you're taking in. You got to exercise. Get the exercising. Though that's the key to losing weight. And most of all, bringing in God into that equation. He needs to be part of that equation for you to lose your weight.
Absolutely. Those are the principles he gave us for
That's
sure.
right.
And
That's
then
right. That's right.
yes. And for those who are wondering about the 2 ounces of meat and so, if I remember correctly, it was the palm of your hand, right? It's
The
not
palm
the
of your
whole
hand,
of your hand, but
no.
just
The,
this.
the palm of your hand is 3 ounces. The palm of
Ah,
your
three
hand, this is
ounces.
3 ounces. The palm.
Mhm.
So that's 3 servings right there.
Oh, you mean separated throughout the day?
Right. This is
An
three
ounce
ounces.
for breakfast?
Let me go back to that slide. You see, protein is 1 ounce is a serving. So that's any kind of meat. So or either 1 tablespoon of peanut butter or a quarter cup of beans. Those are all the serving sizes for protein.
Oh, wow. That's going to
See?
be new because I think we are used
Yes.
to put in that rice on the plate, the beans go on top, you sprinkle a little bit of cheese on top. Mercy, what are
Yep.
we going to
Yep.
do?
Yeah, we gonna lose
That's going to take
weight.
a lot of prayer.
That is definitely gonna take prayer. Let me tell you. And when you start this process of eating healthy, eating reducing the amount of food you're eating, you're gonna feel hungry. Drink your water in between, right? And I tell my folks, if you have issue eating the vegetables, cut them up and you snacking them throughout the day. But you don't eat more than what you need to have.
Yes,
See?
yes.
See,
So
but
we need
we
to
think,
also,
go ahead.
no, it's good.
So you gotta plan this eating thing. You cannot go living day by day without planning your meals. That's the bottom line.
Yes. So I like the part, I believe you said that we had was it 100 grams of fat for the day? So we start planning off our day, how we're going to get those in.
If you have that depend okay, let's go back to that. That. All right. Let's say for example you are monitoring your fat intake, right? So using the percent daily value for each product that you eat, you write down how much the percent value is. When you have reached 100%, you have had enough fat for one day.
Ah,
See,
okay.
so if you had, let's say for example, you had the soup for lunch and you had your soup for dinner, so that's 12 grams right there. But anything else that you eat with that vegetable and you have fat in it, you add it up. So if you get to 100, you had enough for the day.
All righty. Thank you so much. We have reached our time here, and we want to thank all our participants and their participation. We really appreciate what you have brought to us, Dr. Gordon. We will
Thank
definitely
you.
take away, especially mindful eating, making sure that we have all our colors and that we're focused on what we're eating, and that we at least are mindful that what we're eating throughout the day so that we're not eating too much fat. If we want that French fry, we better follow it up with a salad.
Hello.
Exactly. All right, let's pray. Father God, thank you so much for bringing your servant here to speak to us on healthful ways of eating. Please keep this in our minds as we go throughout our day, throughout our week, that we will be mindful of what we're doing each and every day so that we are able to serve you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.